I thought today was a good performance, specifically defensively. Again, really got off to a good start there, set the tone. Some of our activity led to some offense and create a little early separation, which I thought was big for us. And then we did settle down a little bit offensively as the game went along. Took care of the ball much better after a little bit of a shaky start there. And, certainly feel like we made some progress today.
Deyton's a guy that the shots have not been falling today. They started to fall a little bit, and he came in and talked as well. I'm curious if you were happy with what Deyton was doing through 2 exhibitions in the first regular season game with everything else other than the shots just not falling. Was he doing everything else you want him to do?
Yeah, Dayton's playing the way we need him to play, right? Like his role is to put a lot of pressure on the basket and the rim, and he's done that every time out, right? With some mixed results early, but I think one thing for us is we've seen these guys every day for a period of time, and I think we're getting to a place where we understand each person, what they're bringing, and how they can affect the game. And I thought last time out, maybe even the second exhibition, we didn't catch him in, but DA really created some advantages off his rim pressure. He had a bunch of assist opportunities in those games, even if they didn't actually turn into assists. So he's impactful. We want him to continue to be aggressive, and I think that's his mindset every game. So that aligns for us.
And I know you and partly in how we reported in your offense, it's all these threes, right? I'm curious how much it does help your offense, though, to get a guy like Tomislav going near the rim.
Absolutely. We don't just want to shoot threes just to shoot them, right? Like we want to get quality shots. We want the right guys taking them, with really high expected value on each one. And so the more we can put pressure on the basket, be efficient around the basket, and kind of shrink the defense, the better the quality of threes that we'll get.
So it seems like everyone's kind of not quite satisfied for the offense is at right now and just the shot selection, stuff like that. But over these last 2 games, you guys have won them pretty convincingly. So I'm curious, when the offense is clicking the way that you want it to, like how close is it to that point, and what does that look like?
I think we have a lot of room to grow. I think this is a group that, given how we came together and where we are, I expect us to really improve as the season goes along. I don't think we're anywhere close to our best basketball, and I would say that on both sides of the ball, even if the defense is ahead of the offense now. I think that we have talented offensive players. I think we have good shooters who are going to make shots, and as we get more and more comfortable and we get kind of shots within the rhythm, like I think our efficiency will increase for sure.
You have a team coming here on Tuesday that you're kind of already familiar with. I'm just curious what the process is like for you preparing for a team that you kind of already know pretty well.
Actually, I'm familiar with the university, but they have a new coach. They have a lot of new players. So I haven't had a chance to watch them. I know they won their first 2 games, including a road game in the last one. So I'll dig into the film and kind of see where we can try to find some advantages in that. But the thing about early in the non-conference too is the preparation and kind of the differences in the cadence. So this was a Wednesday, Saturday with an afternoon tip. That's a possible cadence that we could have in conference play. So these are important experiences in terms of preparation. This one we have day off and then 1 day prep. In a couple weeks we're going to have to play back-to-back. So our ability to kind of retain the information and apply it on short turnaround is really important. So, it's obviously we want to prepare for the games. We want to play well, but we want to benefit from the experiences and the preparation throughout the process too.
It looked like, I asked DA this as well, it looked like the game was a little bit stale midway through the first half. You get a steal by Chol and a dunk, and then a steal by DA, and he finishes. The biggest roar probably of the season so far. Your thoughts of that and the energy that it brought. Yeah,
we could really feel that. I thought that was a big moment in the game. I kind of referenced that earlier where we were talking about defense to offense. Chol's dunk, and then that was we haven't been here long, but that was the most we felt the crowd, and I really thought that contributed to the next steal, coming right back. That you could feel the whole building, and that was cool.
Just defensively in general, this is the second game in a row you've held your opponent to under 20 points in the first half. Just talk about them and how they're working really hard.
Yeah, I mean, I think it starts with our effort. I think guys are playing hard. I think that we have a deep team. So one of the things that's happening is that first group setting the tone, and then around that first media, we go to the bench, and there's not a lot of drop off, especially on the defensive end. So I think that's important for us to kind of sustain that throughout. I thought our second half was a little better too. We were able to carry over some of the disruption that hadn't happened every time when we'd gone into the second half. We didn't quite have the same activity level tonight or today we did. So yeah, a lot of positives there.
Lobo fans are pretty loyal. They'll come out and support you no matter what. But do you think you're convincing some people to maybe come back and give this team a shot because you've had 2 convincing wins so far?
I hope so. I mean, obviously, like, this is a fan base that's not going anywhere, and but we can help by doing our jobs. It's not just on them to show up every single time. If we're, we got to put a good product on the floor. We got to represent them the right way, and I think our guys are doing that with how they're competing defensively. And I also think that as we continue to get better offensively and a few more shots go, I think we're going to be a fun basketball team to watch when we start clicking on all cylinders.
I asked DA this too, but UNLV lost to UT Martin at home, Grand Canyon lost to Youngstown State, and then the Boise State game. Do you use that as a selling point to these guys when you're in the locker room? Like, hey, you cannot take anyone lightly.
We have not discussed other teams. I mean, that's our approach regardless of other people's results, right? We're more focused on ourselves, and we shouldn't be taking anyone lightly. It's Division I basketball. Anything can happen. Our guys look at the scoreboard and they see what's going on. But our focus is really just about us playing good basketball, and if we do that every night, then we'll live with those results, whatever they may be.
Coach, how would you describe your defensive identity?
I think that we're disruptive. We try to protect the paint, and we just want to make everything difficult for the opposing offense.
You mentioned being disruptive. You guys get 32 points off of turnovers. How important is it for you, for your team, to punish other teams when they make mistakes against you guys?
Yeah, you got to take advantage of those opportunities. Get out in transition, numbered situation. I think we're a really good team in transition. We've certainly been more efficient in transition than the half court to this point. Although we expect the half court to improve. So right now it's big, and it's not just 23 turnovers but 14 steals. So the live ball turnovers have more potential for transition, and I thought we did a really good job of affecting them as passers. We had a couple where they tried to skip it, threw it right to us. We got our hand on the ball several times, and so yeah, really pleased with that part of the game. And yeah, it's a big part. It's a foundational part of what we're trying to do and build.
First half, I thought JT and Kevin actually gave you a stretch of some good minutes. Those two guys who haven't got the minutes as the guys in front of them, obviously. I want to ask you about that stretch where both of them kind of played a few good minutes, but also maybe what's keeping guys, I mean, you can only play so many guys, but what's keeping guys that aren't playing right now maybe from getting more minutes? A guy like a Kevin, I know a lot of people ask us about tomato ponds and minutes like that. Is it just getting up to speed on offense and defense, or is there something more specific about kind of why you selected the guys you're throwing?
I mean, we build the rotation to give us a chance to play the best basketball. Like, that's the primary purpose of that. And then from there, we want to develop as many guys as we can to get to a place where we think we have real depth, right? And so we want to develop that. So we're trying to get some guys in, and so there's a balance between a lot of in and out, guys finding their rhythm, getting kind of extended minutes. So those are we're putting a lot into those decisions every time out. Some of it's matchup, some of it's just our rotations and how guys fit together. So it's a little different night to night, but mostly we're just putting the group together that we feel like is going to give us the best basketball.
All right, and then clearly the biggest moment of the game was 6:59 to go in the second half. Tomasov stepped up to the free throw line with 65 points. He hit back-to-back free throws for 6-7, and there were kids in the crowd going crazy for 6-7. I'm curious, were you nervous for him in that moment?
No, I don't. I personally, I remember him making the free throws. I don't know the significance of 6-7. Like, that's lost on me. But anything that gets them going, like if made free throws are going to get the building going, then I'm all for it.
in the opener?
For sure. Got to see the ball go in the basket a couple of times, so this is good.
Even while the ball wasn't going in during those games, you were still aggressive. You drew 6 fouls in the last 2 games. You drew 6 more tonight. Did you feel like you were still playing the way you want to play, and it was just a matter of the shots not falling, or is there something else that you feel like you weren't doing right?
Nah, I felt like I was playing the way I wanted to play. Felt like I could have slowed down a little bit on a couple of drives, but missing a couple of shots never takes away my aggression. I am very confident in my game, been doing it my whole life, so it's just a matter of staying aggressive and, just trusting my teammates.
Tell me something about this defense. Like, is it a matter of you sense that they're kind of confused on how to figure out your zone? Is it just that you guys are so, closing out on them? Like, what is it about this defense that is now for two regular season games really stifled the opponent, especially early in both games?
Yeah, I would say it just starts in practice. Going into practice, we have a defensive mindset, although Coach Olen is an offensive coach. Just before the start of practice, we were always talking about defense with little keys on the board. So just having that awareness, even just going into practice and having that translate over to the game, is just showing what we do.
You got guys back-to-back steals. Chol had one with the dunk, and then you get one and you finish. You really got to hear the roar of that pit. Talk about that feeling. What you thought about it?
That feeling remind me of when I came here last year with Utah State. Crazy, get to feel all the vibrations going. It just makes you want to get another one, make another shot, get another block, get another steal. So, that's just what the pit brings, and it's such a blessing to play now.
After Wednesday's game, Coach told us that, the defense is probably a little ahead of the offense right now. That's probably the case again today. But how much do you feel like the offense really is catching up to the defense right now?
It's a progress, brand new team starting to gel together. We're not really too worried about offense as long as we're guarding on the other end. The offense would take care of itself. But I'm very confident in my teammates, very confident in myself that, we can turn this around and, get this offense flowing a little better.
2 big wins in 3 days. You guys are going to be back here again on Tuesday. Can you just talk about how much momentum you guys are playing with right now?
A lot of momentum, just, staying with the right mindset, just keeping it game after game, practice after practice, and just focusing on the next play the next day. So, staying locked in.
Boise State lost to Division II team. UNLV lost at home to UT Martin last night. Grand Canyon lost to Youngstown State. Do losses like that get your guys' attention to not overlook teams like you're playing the first couple of games?
Of course. From day one, we had a couple of upsets, not only with the Mountain West, but, just knowing when you are a bigger name, I've been at that point in my life before where I was at the smaller school and, just pleading for this opportunity to come in a place like the Pit and play in front of all these people, in front of all these cameras, and, it's like the opportunity of a lifestyle for some of these guys, of a lifetime for some of these guys. So they're bringing their A game and they're coming to throw the first punch. But, you just have to be aware of all that and come out and you deliver the first punch.
I'm sure Coach will talk about the offense. He's not critical of the offense, but he wants to see something a little bit more. What do you think he wants out of you guys to come together as far as moving the ball on offense?
Yeah, I would say just more quality shots, more ping touches. I would say that's the 2 big things, and just keeping the ball moving too, because we have a lot of movement in our offense. Get the defense moving a little bit, will generate a lot of better shots. So he's harping on that a lot.
And to follow up on that offense, I know he's about floor spacing. That's most of what his offense is predicated on. But can you tell me how much it helps you as a point guard and just this offense in general when you do get that down low presence? Tomasov got it going. When the big guy gets going at the rim, how much does that help this offense?
Helps a lot, especially when you have shooters on the outside. All it takes is a ping touch for us to get a good look. Get down there, get a ping touch, kick it out. Spray 3 from one of the best shooters in the country. Or, you got Tomislav had it going today. We get down there, get a little dump off because there's so much attention in the paint. Makes it a little easier for him. So it's good to see him get going today.
Defensively is what you did last year too. I'm curious, as the guy who played an awful lot of defense on that team last year, went to the tournament, where you think this early in the season this defense is, and are you surprised that it's doing as well as it's been doing?
Not at all. We're competing against just throughout the summer, just the guys. You see the caliber of the offense, I feel like, is starting to finally show from us. I know last time I was in here, there's a little bit of concerns from the public, but you kind of see a little bit of that showing now. And that's what we've been competing against the last handful of months. So it's like we understand how we can defend. That's what all the coaches stress, especially Coach Olen. That's where we turn our defense into offense, and the handful of runs, you can see that. And so, like, the defense, as far as that's what we do. That's New Mexico basketball.
What is it about the defense when it was at its best last year and what you guys are hoping to get it to this year?
Yes.
What is it about the defense? Is it that you guys always have somebody in someone's face? Is it that they can't get the shot off? Does it actually confuse them at times? Because it seems like they spend multiple possessions just trying to figure out what you guys are doing out there.
That's what Coach Olen loves to do. He loves to mess with the other team's mind. So, yeah, we love to confuse the offense. We love to throw different things. As far as we love to ball pressure, get into guys. Coach Olen's biggest kind of defensive quote is make the offense do a second thing. So if you get them out of control going downhill, they get an easy pass out. Okay, now we're making that next guy do a second thing instead of just catching and shooting. We want him to put the ball on the floor, make them now do what the first guy did, and it just speeds the offense up, and that's what we love to do. So
The team that was here before, the last couple of years, had one of the fastest paces in the entire country. And I think maybe people watch you guys and think, this team's not very quick, but this team is not slow, is it?
No, I wouldn't say we're slow. A big thing we always say in the locker room is controlled aggression. We like to be aggressive. We like to push the tempo, but we like to be controlled at the same time. And so, yeah, I wouldn't say we're slow. We are very opportunistic, if you will. I know they had a big fella down low, so Thomas Love, JT Rock, and Milos, they had some really good rim runs that forced and flattens out the defense. Now you got Deyton, Uriah, a couple of the other guys, Jake Hall, Luke Hop, getting downhill. And then from there, just making a good decision. And so, yeah, I would like to put it as controlled aggression is how we play. Yeah, not slow, not fast, controlled aggression.
Thomas Love, it looks like he's really starting to establish himself as a
For
power
sure.
forward, a guy who can do a lot of damage, both scoring pretty much anywhere he wants.
Yeah.
Just talk about his game and what he's brought to you guys.
Oh, that guy's amazing. Yeah, he's super high IQ, can do whatever you need him to do. That guy, he's a special guy. He can, as you can see now, today, amazing night. I've been telling him, like, just keep playing, you're good, like, it's going to come. And I knew tonight was going to be a big night for him, and he showed it on both ends. You know what I mean? He didn't, you see here, he didn't have any steals or anything, but he's making the primary defender as a secondary help defender do a second thing. So he just impacts the game in so many different ways that does show up on the stat sheet and sometimes doesn't. And so that's the type of guy he is. He brings so much on both sides of the court to the team.
Chris, before the season, we talked about your view of the team. You told me that you guys are really dynamic, and seeing you out there today, your shot didn't fall, but I felt like you still had a huge impact on the game because you were getting boards, playing good defense, and getting a lot of assists as well. How difficult is it to guard you guys when anybody can shoot, anybody can score, but also guys are all rebounding and passing the ball and dribbling as well?
That's what we like to do. We like to make it hard for the other team, both defensively and offensively. We're going to try to really make the defense work when we're on offense, make them work, make them earn a stop, make them earn something. And it's like you're saying, that's incredibly hard when you got five guys out there that can really put the ball in the rim, but also can facilitate for someone else. Like this team, we saw a little bit tonight having 15 assists as a team. This team can really share the ball, and we love to share the ball. And so, for the defense, that's I would say that's pretty hard to guard. And then on the other end, like I was just saying earlier, we just love to cause confusion, cause chaos, if you will, both on the ball, off the ball in rotation, changing different things, throwing different things at the offense. And so, the team is it's a pleasure to play with these guys, like you're saying. There's such an overlap in every single area on the team. Even talking about Thomas Love, someone who can do so much. You got so many guys that can do so many different things. And so, like, as far as myself, when shots not falling, missing a couple layups, like, there's no worry at all because I know, look over my left, over my right, someone's going to pick that up for me because we're such a dynamic and just unified team. So.
And you mentioned 15 assists. You had 5 of them. Mm-hmm. What is it like? A few of them, obviously, Thomas Love, and one of them for and one. What is it like to be able to have an imprint on the game without scoring the basketball?
I say this all the time, whatever the coach needs, whatever the team needs to win, that's what I like to do. Whatever that may entail, whether that's guarding 40 minutes or if that's being in the action and trying to make a play. That's what I like to do, and there's many others like that as well on the team. So I think it's just, I would say the 5 assists is always great to see, great to have, but it's just coaches and the guys putting me in that spot to facilitate and make plays for others. And so.
When you come onto a new sports team, new coach, new ship, the goal usually is to win games. You guys had 2 convincing wins, but Lobo fans want entertainment now because of what they had under Patino.
Mm-hmm.
Is that something you guys are going to adapt into your style of play, or is that something fans need to adapt to your guys' current style of play?
That's a good question. I would say, as far as myself, what my answer would be to that is I want wins, whatever that takes. My game doesn't always entail the entertainment, super hype, the exciting plays, but I just want the win. So that's me. I can only really speak for me on that. I'll defer that question to Coach Olen next time he's in here. I know you probably should have asked him when he was in here, but yeah, I'm gonna do whatever it takes to win. That's all that matters to me. In this locker room, we all always talking about we're not playing to hold back, we're just playing to win, and whatever that entails, that's what I try to inspire the guys to do.